As I continued to get deeper and deeper into the untold story of Marvel Studios, the more I realized that had anything played out just slightly differently, the MCU would be in a completely different place. Like Age of Ultron, for example, which the book has way more details all over it in regards to what was going on, the way the film came together, the reasoning, and Joss Whedon's involvement and ultimate stepping away from the MCU. So Marvel Studios had this weird mentality back in the day, specifically right when Disney bought them, because Disney wanted to have a more controlling say over everything that was going on, and of course the MCU wasn't the MCU it is today. It was split between multiple people calling the shots, whether it was Kevin Feige or Ike Perlmutter, or the likes of Jeff Loeb and the embargoes and trying to steal characters from one another, and then Disney having a ruling hand and trying to play favorites with everybody because it was a new acquisition. Things were falling apart behind the scenes as we've been learning, and the Marvel Studios book really goes into everything, and there's a lot in there on Joss Whedon. And what's revealed with direct quotes and reflection from him is the fact that after the huge success of the Avengers, Marvel Studios and Disney came to him, and they already knew the next Avengers film, the date, and what the direction of the MCU was. And they told him, you already have a contract, here's the date, here's what we gotta do, we're meeting these deadlines, get working on it. And he says that it's one of those things where everything had to converge upon itself. MCU storylines suddenly got bigger. Everything had to be connected. You had to play to everybody. Creatively, it was all over the place because everybody was bringing in ideas. The sequel, though, everything hinged on because, as we talked about it before, Disney was still in that old mindset. If you put something out, the next one has to do better in every regard. The next one has to be bigger, has to be better, it has to do more. Nobody considered that making a lesser film or trying to rush everything would impact them because the people calling the shots at the time were so many different voices that you didn't know who to listen to, and Feige didn't have as much of a ruling voice. So as he reveals, Age of Ultron, as he says, was serving too many masters. None of them knew what they wanted exactly, but they knew they just wanted more money, they wanted to up the stakes, they wanted a bigger villain, they wanted more characters, they wanted more action, they wanted to sell more toys, they wanted to have more integration into mobile games and things, but nobody knew why, nobody knew how, and it had to all come together very quick. He reveals that this is when the burnout started, because he was working on so many other things that it just got too overwhelming and he didn't know what would be next. Is the next Avengers film going to be the same thing? Is the one after that going to be the same thing? How much longer can I do this? And what are they going to demand? Ultimately, he reflects on the film and says, when you look at it, he got to do everything he wanted to. There's a lot of parts in there that are in there because of committee. They had to be in there. But ultimately, the film he ended up putting out is largely the film he wanted, for better or for worse.